So let's get into this word. Let's talk about the rod and the staff of God and why it's relevant to your life today. In Psalms 23:4, David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil because God, you're with me. Like God is with you. Like right here, he is with you. Okay. So he said, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. He's not going to, David was like, I'm not fearing no evil. You know why? Because David was a shepherd and he knew what it took to defend his sheep, to protect his sheep. He knew how to take care of his sheep. And he's like, well, if I know how to take care of my sheep and I know that my sheep can't protect themselves, I need to use a rod and I need to use a staff. If they go astray, I need to know that I can use that staff to bring them back in. I can use that rod to protect them. I can comfort them. You know, because when David was a shepherd, he killed a lion and a bear. And I'm sure he killed it because it was trying to go after his what? His sheep. And when Moses was in the wilderness, God told him, cast down your rod. When he cast down his rod became a serpent. All right. So why did his staff become a serpent? Because his staff represented wisdom. Now, why did I say that it represents wisdom? Now, let's think about it. How did evil come into the world? The evil came into the world because the serpent, which is identified as a form of wisdom, tricked Eve. And then she gave that wrong type of knowledge to her husband. That's why God told us to be what? Be wise as serpents. Let me say that again. God told us to be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. So, yeah, Satan tricked Eve through wisdom, through being cunning and crafty, using his skill, his gift of knowledge, being wise as being a wise serpent. So we, in return, we have to know our enemy. We have to be wise too. We have to have that staff. So what did God use the rod for? So because Moses was scared to speak because he had a speech impediment, he was afraid to go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh that God said, let my people go. Aaron used his rod and his rod turned into a serpent. And guess what it did? It devoured the rods of the Egyptians, and the Egyptians' rods had turned into serpents themselves. Now, Egypt was known, you can read this in the Bible, they were known to be one of the wisest nations at that time. So you can see that God's power, his authority will protect you. It will comfort you. It will give you peace. It will protect your family. You just have to take it and use it and be like Apostle Paul and beat your flesh with that rod into subjection.